Yo, welcome to another episode of Neptunes Sunday. It's your boy V Moss. Today is August 11th, 2025, and yesterday, Sunday, August 10th, 2025, on the sixth stop of the Clipse Let God Sort Them Out tour, the Thornton brothers came home to Virginia Beach, and I was there. So I'm going to give a quick recap of what was a very special night in Virginia, a very special night in 757. So let's just go. Like, first of all, this was my favorite concert that I've been to. I'd say other than Something in the Water in DC when these guys first got back together for the first time in forever. Like, that was a big deal. But then also Made in America 2017. I was there when Hove performed, and then he did his like surprise pop out B-sides Encore at this other stage, and brought Meek Mill out in Philly to do Brains, Dreams, and Nightmares. Those were big concert moments for me, but those are festivals, so it's not really comparing it to this. This was very different. This was very specific. This was very unique to me, being a kid from Virginia, getting to see these guys perform back at home for the first time in almost 2 decades, which is really cool. So, sold out show of real Clipse fans, real rap fans, more importantly. The energy was part homecoming, part family reunion. And, part of the rollout we talked about, the merch has been crazy. There's all types of merch that's been coming out for the album, for the tour. I feel like everything that I've seen them promoting merch wise was represented at the show. They did a crazy special pop up selling play clothes back at home last night, which was crazy. I didn't get a chance to get out there, but shout out to my man Doug. That is just showing how big of a moment it is, showing that it's a celebration of the history that these guys have been through and what they mean to this place and what this place means to them. So really dope. The concert took place at a place called The Dome, which is a new venue down here that literally just opened in April of earlier this year. So it's only had a few shows there, but to have this be one of the first biggest shows and one of the sold out shows was actually dope. I had never been there, obviously, because it's just open, but like initially, I'll admit I was trying to be frugal. I was gonna be there, and I was gonna be happy being there no matter what. So I wasn't really like pressed to like get the best tickets. So I got these tickets that were in the back for the lawn area, and then I looked at some Google reviews, and I was like, nah, I can't go out like that. I can't risk not being able to see the show and being so far away. So got the tickets, but then ended up switching them for other tickets. Hit my godbrother Dave. Hopefully you guys recognize when I say Dave. I talk about Dave on the show a lot. He's my godbrother. Our parents are best friends, have been best friends. They were born the same day, so they've been best friends since middle school. But me and Dave are basically growing up together. We are born 2 months apart. Dave's been on all the V Moss and Friends episodes. Some of you might have actually met him at the live episode for the Clipse album last month in July. So Dave, like, that's my dog. So I was like, yo, you trying to come to the Clipse concert? He was like, where is it? I was like, it's in Virginia Beach. He's like, sure. So Dave came down from Richmond. Excited to have him be share this moment, go on this journey with me, and we'll get into that in a second. So at the same time that I bought 2 tickets, I also requested a media credential. I had no expectation of that. I just saw what the process was and was like, yeah, it's nothing to just put my email out, say I have a podcast talking about this. Like, maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. But my brother Tinsley made a good point, and like, I have to consider myself, I am like sort of kind of in the media space in a way, and this is what I do is worthy of getting a credential, and I got selected, which is crazy. So my boy Ty, who does a lot of the photography for the podcast, he usually shoots all the events that we have and some other business projects that we work on together. We had been talking about this because he's been trying to shoot as many shows as he can. He told me he had submitted it too. And, he and I have been talking a lot this week anyway, because one, is shooting on Saturday morning. He's shooting for a client that I have that's a model client. He needed to do a photo shoot in some different spaces just to get some shots for his portfolio. So Ty was going to take care of that for me. At the same time, I had requested media credentials for the Richmond Jazz and Music Festival to be able to go get some content for the podcast page, because I knew they'd had some artists that were going to do some Neptune songs like T.I. He got some good content of T.I. But because I had some other events happening this weekend, in addition to the Clipse concert, I wasn't going to be able to go to Richmond. So I was like, here, Ty, you can go, you can shoot, and then we can just collaborate on the content. So I'm talking to Ty like all week. I'm talking to Ty like Friday and then, early morning Saturday, because that's when they're doing the photo shoot. And so he sends me a screenshot randomly in the middle of another conversation we're having about the photo shoot. And it's a confirmation that he got the email from Live Nation that he was selected to shoot the Clipse show, which is the next day on Sunday. And I was hyped for him because I'm like, yes, that's great. Ty's going to be there. Like, I'm going to be there just as a fan. But, like, if Ty's going to be there, we can get some great shots that we can use on the social accounts and just, just show that we had a presence there, which was dope. But then I checked my email and I saw the same message and I was like, wait, why did Ty forward this to me? But then I realized that they sent it to me too. I had got selected to get a media credential too. And so I was like, yo, this is wild. I hit him back and I was like, yo, we both going. We got a game plan. So fast forward, Saturday happens, had some events, did some stuff around the house, did some work. And then Sunday, bam. So Sunday morning, let's set the scene. I already had an event Sunday morning working with my guy Mike Fletcher and working with Boss Bags to Leon to have an event, R&B, at the Can Gallery, Newport News. Mike, who I've had on the show twice, and I'm helping him and working with him on some creative projects that he's doing. He's had an artist in residency at the Can Gallery since for this whole year, but the exhibit opened in May. So we had the idea to have R&B there just to collab with Boss Bags. Had DJ Rayvon and DJ Vega there, which was dope. Just to get some people in the space, R&B vibes, some light hors d'oeuvres, and just to see the art and be able to chill. So that was from 12 to 4. So I leave that around 5 because in the email it says you got to be right at the media entrance at 7:30 or you might get left. So I'm like, okay, cool. Dave's on the way. I was like, Dave, meet us at the crib. Just in time for me to go back, drop Kia off, and then change my shoes. Just a side note real quick. Tyler, on his interview with Zane Lowe, was talking about Jordan 4s and how much he loves Jordan 4s now, which is cool. And I had on a pair of Jordan 4s on Sunday morning at the R&B event. Don't get me wrong, it's one of my favorite OG silhouettes, but I feel like I've seen this sentiment said other places, but like Jordan 4s can be uncomfortable. But I digress. So I changed my shoes, put on some Air Max 95s, and by 5:30 we're on the way to the beach. In the car, stopped and crushed some Wendy's, got associates, got gas, and we're on the way. So I get to meet Ty at the media entrance, and I also have to make sure to note, like, the most important reason I'm meeting Ty at the media entrance is so we can be in there together. But obviously, I don't necessarily own a professional like camera that is media pit worthy. So I had to borrow one from Ty, which is like just shows that I really submitted that media request just off throwing a grenade and was like, hey, if we get it, let God figure out the rest, and boy, won't he do it, right? So the main rule when you're shooting in the pit is like you only get to shoot the first 3 songs of each act. So once we got in, we were like in the lobby for a little bit, then we went to the side of where the main floor was, and then it's time for EarthGang to come out. And this is another reason why I said that it's like a family reunion, because like EarthGang is from Atlanta, right? And I really appreciate like what they're doing in music. And this is why it's more like homecoming. I should say is because I appreciate the fact that they let the crowd know, like, hey, we were coming back to Virginia because, we went to Hampton. So, like, they're back in VA, back in the 757, which I thought was a dope moment for the crowd. Was happy to hear a lot of people cheer when he said Hampton University. So, shout out to EarthGang. Like, I really appreciate those guys and their talent. Dope stuff that they're doing with Dreamville. And there's a bunch of, not a bunch, but there's a few other connections between Dreamville and Hampton, which I think are dope. Like JID, who just released his album, which is dope, has a really cool Clipse feature, another crazy verse of Malice on there. He actually played football at Hampton too, so it's dope. It's dope synergy again. Like this connection between a lot of people in Virginia is strong, and that's always dope for me to see and talk about. So then the other homecoming part of it is like after I shot the first 3 songs of EarthGang, I'm back in the lobby just chilling until it's time for the Clipse, and so I saw like a bunch of people just like from being people that I know from all over, and then people that I know from being down here in the 757 community. So I walk out of the venue doors to go back into the lobby, and I see Andrew Hypes, who's the tour DJ for Justin Timberlake. He's from Virginia, and we've talked on Instagram. Like I'm trying to get him on the show, and like I just introduced myself to him and talked to him. It was great to see him. I know he's been traveling like crazy with Justin Timberlake, so dope that he was able to come back for the show. I think him and one of his other DJ homies like did an event down here on Saturday night that looked dope. So shout out to Andrew Hypes. Then this is a crazy moment, like an extended family member, Jay, who's like, I mean, Jay's gotta be like maybe almost 10 years older than me. And I'm in the lobby chilling, and I see this guy walk in. He's wearing one of my Peace and Love shirts. And I'm like, who is that? And then I realized it's Jay. And it was crazy because I actually had on a Peace and Love shirt too. And so I walked up to him and I was like, yo, bro, that's a nice shirt, man. He was like, oh, what? Yo. And then gave each other a big hug. It was good to see him. Hadn't seen him in a minute. But that was dope that he was, like, obviously that he was there, but dope that he's wearing the shirt too. I'm wearing it, like, that was great. We should have got a picture of that. But then most importantly, I saw my homie Steph. Like, Steph is crazy, multi-hyphenate, creative, host, entrepreneur. Always dope to see her. Like, she's doing great things down here with Team Yellow and Cousins Festival and a bunch of other stuff. Has her own studio. And I always show love and want to shout out Steph. Not just because, like, she's doing stuff with them, but, like, no, like, because, like, this is one of my actual, like, real friends. And so to see your real friends in shared spaces that you're both in as you're chasing your dreams, especially at our age, is, like, a really dope thing that I don't take for granted when I'm in those moments with Steph or with Tins or with, any of my actual friends, especially my Hampton friends, that we get to share space when we're doing things that we dreamt about or talked about when we was in school. So shout out to Steph. All right, cool. So it's time. We go back in to get ready for the Clipse set, and their DJ Yo Q comes out. I love, like, I've just gotten familiar with him since the beginning of this album rollout and tour and stuff like that. So love his energy. He comes out and warms the crowd up with some rapidy rap songs, which I thought was so fitting. He did Shook Ones, Drop It Like It's Hot, Jeezy, Go Crazy. And so then it was time for the Clipse to come out. So I'll do a song by song recap. I'm pretty sure it's accurate. Maybe if it's one song off or out of order, that's cool. Feel free to flame me in the comments, but I'll explain this whole process in a minute. Like I did miss a song, and I also like was trying to be really intentional about enjoying it and not necessarily recording every moment or making sure I made notes. I did remember to make notes at the end because I had to do this, but I tried to enjoy it. So if my order is off, cool, feel free to correct me, but this is how it went for me. So now at this point, remember, I get to shoot the first 3 songs from the pit, and I'm right there in the front of the stage. Chains and Whips drops. Pusha comes out to do his verse. Spirit of Repossession. I'm hyped. But then Malice comes out right before his verse, and the crowd went crazy. And I think that was just a testament, like, to the sentiment of this whole time. Like, everyone's been so happy to see them back together, but also just happy to hear Malice be back and be so crisp with it. And the crowd gave him a great welcome when he came out to do his verse on Chains and Whips. So then, boom, second song, right, kept the energy up right into P.O.V. And I want to make sure, like, we got to give Pusha his credit. The hooks that he did on this album specifically, like, are very good. And P.O.V. is, like, a dope song. The energy on that song is dope because of that hook. So, shout out to Pusha for that. And then, third song, Before I Gotta Go, Popular Demand. Like, come on. Like, still rings off. The only song that they did from Till the Casket Drops. I did see a clip. I guess it was one of the New York shows. Somebody was in the crowd with a bag of Popeyes. I didn't see that last night, but if there was, shout out to, that's a cool idea. Shout out to anyone that has done that or is going to do that at the show. Popeyes got to get on board with that. All right, so I only get to shoot the first 3 songs, so then I'm out. They escort us out quickly. I'm going back to the lobby with Ty. Ty doesn't have a ticket, so he's planning to go. He's got to get his bag out of coat check to put his cameras in it. And I'm like, cool. I'm giving him the camera. And we're like, yo, let's hop in the merch line because there's like, obviously the merch line was crazy long before. And then, this is during the concert, so we were able to hop in the line and just go straight to the front and get our shirt. So, but while we were in line, I did realize the song that we missed, which I'm sad that we missed, was What Happened to That Boy, which I'm so happy that they performed. Like put the drama aside, like it is what it is, but like that's an important song. It's a great song. So I'm so glad that they performed that song. Like I'm pretty sure that's the only like non-clip song that is on the set. Fact check me, but I'm pretty sure. Okay. So I go back inside after I miss What Happened to That Boy, and I think I'm right in time for Mike Tyson Blows to the Face, which is dope. Follow that up with one of my other favorites, Inglorious Bastard. Shout out to Ab Lava, VA to PA. Ab Lava didn't come out. I'm just shouting him out because, like, that's my guy. I mean, it's not my guy, but I like Ab Lava. Ab Lava's, showed us love on the podcast before. So, after that, then they switch it, and they take a little pause and Pusha talks, but like it's to set up this Hell Hath No Fury run. And they go, Momma, I'm so sorry, Keys Open Doors, and Mr. Me Too. So here we go. Y'all know me. I talk about this on the show all the time with Vogue and like just with stuff, how I see things. I am expecting and hoping for the biggest moments possible. So when I hear the beat drop for Keys Open Doors, I'm expecting the one and only Pharrell Williams to come from the back at the hometown show in Virginia Beach. Why? Well, because I did hear, or I felt like I may have seen, that something happened recently this week that made him be in the States and not in Paris. So there's always a shot. And it's the hometown show. Like this, it makes sense. But P didn't come out. But at the same time, like it was still great. I'm so glad they did that song. And Q, DJ, rap Pharrell's verses and did it very well, which I thought was a dope way, especially on that song, because that song is kind of difficult. Not kind of difficult, but it's kind of like you can't. That song would be weird if it didn't have Pharrell's verses in it. So like to have Q do Pharrell's verses, I thought was a smart move and it was dope. So I also wanted to mention how like dope the visuals were for like the background screens, like, and they've been doing this in a lot of the promo videos and even the music videos, like a lot of imagery that has a lot to do with them as like real rappers that are in the culture, a lot of like blackety black images, stuff that was very culturally relevant to what they're doing and the songs that they're making. So that also included like right before they did Grindin, they had I think they had a video of some girls step into the beat and then it switched into Grindin, which I thought was a really cool moment. And obviously Grindin was like, it's Grindin, so crowd was in it. Grindin obviously is one of the biggest songs they've ever had, fan favorite. So then after Grindin, led into the moment that I've been waiting for, was looking forward to the whole night. And I'm sorry, I gotta take a water break. As you can imagine, my voice is kind of scratchy. But the moment that I've been waiting for, looking forward to all weekend, it's time for F.I.C.O. And like the Stove God hook on there is one of the best ever. Like it's just, you just gotta call it recency bias. I don't care, but it's so well done, and I think that that's really dope about not only the Stove God hook, but I think it also is part of Pusha's like approach to hooks is like it's not just some catchy stuff you say. Like there's entendres and there's references and metaphors and similes in the hooks, which is like exactly why the Fresh Prince line was such a big deal in our world this week too. So if you follow us on social media, I posted a video clip. I happened to be Thursday night watching Fresh Prince on Hulu. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. I literally like will randomly start watching it from the beginning. I used to do it on DVD. Now I just do it on Hulu or whatever because I can. And you know, this time of year, not really watching sports as much. Summertime's down, so like I go to my comfort shows, usually Fresh Prince and Entourage. So I was watching the episode, and it was the episode where he first like flipped the jacket. So I stopped it, I paused it, and then I ran it back, and I recorded it on my phone. The next morning, I posted it on all our social media accounts, and added the F.I.C.O. Stove God hook on there, and it did okay on IG, and it did okay on YouTube, but like this is my first viral TikTok video ever. It's already 2 days in, 3 days in now, 125,000 views on TikTok. Like, come on, guys. Like, I literally sit on here and I give you guys this cultural commentary and history and my heartfelt stories of this high level, like, talk about music and culture. And the video that goes viral is just this random video of a clip of Fresh Prince with the Stove God hook. Nah, seriously though, it was a fun video. It was cool. I'm glad I posted it. I'm glad that people like it. It's also dope to see people comment and be like, yo, this helped me catch the reference. I had no idea, because like people my age gotta understand there's a generation of people out there who may only really think about Fresh Prince from the new Bel Air series, right? So I think he flipped his jacket maybe in the second season, maybe, I don't know, but the point is like for people to see that and then it sparked their mind like, oh, that's what he's talking about. You know, I don't take that as like, I wouldn't be critical of someone, especially if they're of a very much younger generation. So happy to be able to provide that context for them. Glad some people enjoy that video. All right, so after F.I.C.O ran into the singles, so they did So Be It and Ace Trumpets. My favorite moment of So Be It, man, and I talked about the visuals. I think that they had words on the background that said like confrontation and consequence, just flashing randomly. But right before the start of the third, like Push's last verse, when he said smoke, like the last time he said smoke, a big cloud of smoke engulfed him as he stands in the middle of the stage, and he does his "You cried in front of me, you died in front of me" verse with a whole bunch of smoke around him, looking like a actual like villain. Like it was crazy. That was a very dope visual for that song. And then obviously Ace Trumpets, the opening lines of both their verses are still ringing crazy. Yellow Diamonds Look Like PP, Penny a la Vodka, like everyone's singing word for word for those. So those two singles are still like very much fan favorites. So next up, like I hadn't seen this. Maybe I had seen the set list, but I didn't internalize it to my memory. I wasn't expecting. I wasn't anticipating every song. I knew that they were gonna do some songs, but I didn't really know the order or whatever. So like I was enjoying the moment and hearing the songs and the progression that they ran them in. But because I hadn't set myself up to like know all the songs that they were gonna do, I was like kind of surprised, and I shouldn't have been, but I was surprised or caught off guard by Birds Don't Sing. But I was glad they did it. It didn't really in my brain think that they were gonna do that, because like this is a concert, right? Like it's not the same thing as a Jimmy Fallon performance or something like that. Like, so pleasantly surprised that they did it. It makes sense, and I should have expected it, but I didn't. But it was beautiful. They had pics of their parents or pics of them with their parents in the background, which was beautiful to see. Um, I didn't get as emotional as I did the first time I heard it, because I've heard it maybe 50 times now. But I still had to hold back some tears just because just being in the space with them, being in the space with the crowd who was feeling it and looking around at people and how it was touching them. But, I've talked on the show before about how my dad passed away last summer, and but actually Sunday was the anniversary of the 12th or 11th or 12th anniversary of when my older brother, I have two older brothers. My middle older brother tragically passed away in a car accident back in like 2013. So it was definitely an emotional moment to hear the song and to have that. Obviously, I'm thinking about my dad too because of the parent connection, but then it be on that day, the anniversary of when Molly passed. So shout out to my brother Jamal. I miss my man a lot. But brotherhood was definitely a theme of the night, and that had something to do with it. So after Birds Don't Sing, Pusha says his goodbyes, and I just came back from seeing Fantastic Four last week. I'm a Marvel movie veteran. I knew not to go anywhere. After like maybe a minute or two, you hear, now they saying we too harsh. New verses, please. And so we get Hot Damn. And they came back out, which was dope. Dope to hear them do that. Also wanted to say it was dope, even though I wasn't at that show, very dope to see the Philly guys come out on Hot Damn and Inglorious Bastards, see Ablava and Roscoe P. Coltrane be able to hit the stage with them in Philly to do those songs and have those guys reunited. Very dope moment. So Hot Damn was cool. After Hot Damn, while they were pausing and transitioning to the next song, it was another cool moment. Malice sees their sister Dee Dee in the crowd and like gives her a cool shout out. So I thought that was cool. Like it was almost like he, I'm sure he expected her to be there, but like I guess like just seeing her in the crowd was dope, and he just called that out. So that was cool. Just again to show the family atmosphere, the family reunion like vibes that were in there. And next, they did Virginia, and I'm watching that like I can't believe like as a kid from Virginia and how much that song meant to me in 2002 as a teenager, to see them perform that song in Virginia Beach in 2025, as much as that song meant to me as a kid from Virginia, like was just kind of surreal, but still one of my favorites. Obviously a classic. They had to do that being back home. No question that was going to be on the set list, but glad I got to see that. And then they wrap it up with So Far Ahead, and in the middle of Malice's verse, which is arguably the best verse on the album, like Walking With My Dog, I Am Legend, I Done Been Both Mason Best, like, he's arguably the best verse on the album. He stops because he sees someone in the crowd that needs like some attention, so he's like literally stops in the middle of his verse and is trying to make sure that person gets help. So after that was taken care of, it was another really dope moment that I peeped. Like after that was taken care of, I see them walking, Pushing and Malice are like talking. They smile and they laugh and they give each other a really big dap. And then they're like, okay, cool, let's run it back. They start the song over from the beginning. They do both the verses, finish it, and then that's it. So, mind you, right, like, me and Dave are separated. Like, I literally, once I came back in, I texted him, I was like, yo, I'm in here, and he didn't text me back. So, like, after the fourth song that I heard, and I didn't see him, and he didn't text me back, like, I called him, and it went straight to voicemail. I was like, oh, man, this man's phone died, bro. But eventually, at the end, like, I just waited, and we met up at the end of the show. and it was like basically he was around a bunch of people, and his cell phone service wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't good. So whatever. We didn't get to watch the concert together, but I didn't have to go hunting for Dave, which was great. So we go outside. We had to go get his water bottle because he wasn't able to bring it in. Finally found that, and then we're just kind of standing outside, talking. Seeing some other people I had to talk to and that I recognize, and then the adrenaline's flowing, the energy's up. Like we just had a great time. This concert was amazing. Then I start to plot on the after party move, and so I'm like, it's like a 5 minute walk from the venue to the party. My man Boss Bags I was just talking about is throwing this. Like I could have texted him and be like, yo bro, like what's going on? Like if I wanted to, or even if we wanted to go, I would have paid to go. But then I'm trying to convince myself and Dave, but mostly myself, should we do it? I've been up since early, been like, and I wasn't just like up chilling, like I was up like at an event, working, running around, and we got to drive 40 minutes back home. And then I was like, man, I'm not doing this. This is the right decision. By the time that we're talking about this, it's like 11 something maybe, and I'm just like, let's just pack it up. Yeah, and so everyone knows that saying that everything happens for a reason, and man. So we start walking towards the parking garage. Mind you, like while we were standing out there, like family and his wife like just came out the venue and just walked down the street that was barricaded off, like to go and like with the rest of it to go on their way, which was cool. Like family waved at some people. It was dope. Good to see him. So we're walking towards the garage, and on the sidewalk, like we get closer to the Sprinter van that's literally parked on the curb or the sidewalk. And I didn't really think anything of it. I'm just like, this concert, people leaving Sprinter van. But then we turned and looked to the right, and there was a crowd on the other side of the Sprinter van, and Malice was in the crowd signing autographs. Security around him for sure, but like maybe like 4 or 5, 3 security and maybe like 5 or 6 people trying to get autographs. And so I'm like, Dave, oh, it's Malice. Like, oh, damn. I'm like, damn, he signed autographs. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm wearing all black, just like I am now. Black hat, black shirt, black pants. I had black hoodie. I had the shirt I bought from the merch line. It was black. Like, if I can get in this line to get an autograph, what am I going to get him to sign? I don't know. I was like, whatever. Even if I just stand here, if I simply get a chance to dap him up and say, thank you, congrats, let him know who I am, maybe that'll be enough. Like, I don't even want a picture at this point. I'm just like, yo, I just want to show love because he's here and I have his opportunity to do it. And as he's finishing the last autograph, I see him motion to everyone, motion to security. That's it. We out. We about to get on the Sprinter van. So I was like, damn. But I was like, I gotta at least say something. So before he gets on the Sprinter van, I take one step in a little closer, prayer hands up, and I say, yo, Malice, I'm from the Neptunes Sunday podcast, bro. I appreciate you, man. And I swear, Dave as my witness and God is my witness too. Slow motion. He literally turns his whole head and goes, yo, y'all be holding it down. Like, come, let's get a pic real quick. And I was like, dog. And so, I'm hyped, obviously. And Dave was with there, and Dave was low-key mad at me because I say, oh, yo, my god brother's here. He can take the picture, but you got to use my phone because this phone is old, which is like, is an inside joke. Like, because Dave actually does have a newer phone than me, but Dave took forever to get an iPhone, like, forever. Like, he just got an iPhone in maybe, like, 20, I don't know. But I always give Dave a hard time about that. And then he was like, man, I'm going to take it. So Dave took the photo for us. It was dope. The picture is funny to me because Mouse is very on brand. He is a rapper who just finished his 6th show in like probably a week and a half. he's at home. He's probably got family he wants to see. He was being nice, just signing autographs. But the fact that he took that time was dope. So he's not smiling. But then I've got my arm on his shoulder. I got this big cheese grin. I'm standing with my actual big brother. Like that's the way the picture looks. But it was cool. It was a dope way to end the night. I'm thankful for that moment. You know, having Malice acknowledge the work that I'm doing, the work that, you know, we're doing with the podcast, everyone who supports it, you know, especially Vogue and, you know, all the people around behind the scenes that helped me with different stuff, all the guests that have come on, like all that. Just to have Malice acknowledge the work in that way, because this is not a podcast about gossip and goofy shit. Like that's not what I'm about, and I don't want this to be about that. It's about the storytelling. It's about the history and culture, about the music and the moments that have helped shape not just me, but, you know, a generation of people who appreciate, you know, the movement. So getting that respect, especially from Malice, like that meant a lot. So really cool that moment happened again. God's timing, like it was really dope, and glad Dave was there, because like I said, Dave and I have been like cradle to the grave like since we're born, like, and we have experienced a lot of the stuff that has made us fans of this Star Trek, this Neptunes, this Clipse stuff. Is like Dave has been there like through the whole process. So dope that Dave was there. So shout out to the Thornton brothers, Terrence and Gene. Shout out to all my two brothers from another mother, Dave and Ty, who were there with me to share this crazy experience last night. Oh, I gotta shout out Shawana and Ashley, fans of the podcast. They were in the front row of the concert and like recognized me when I was in the pit taking pictures. So I got a picture of them. That was dope. But it was cool. It was a cool night, man. It was a dope day in Virginia, dope day for 757. So if you're listening to this podcast, if you're a fan, like I'm sure you're a fan of the Clipse at least, worth going. It's worth going to check out, bro. I strongly encourage to catch the tour when it comes to your city, or when it comes close as possible. Just go. Like, especially just excited to see if they bring out any other special guests during the rest of the tour. Like this is only the 6th out of maybe like 20 stops. So, you know, like crazy. A Slim Thug reunion to do Wamp Wamp in Houston would be dope. But again, like if you're a fan, if it's coming to your city or coming near enough that you can travel to it, go see it. It was a great show. It's, you know, definitely a lot about this album, but it's still very much about their career. And if you're a fan, you'll appreciate that. So appreciate y'all. Appreciate everyone for supporting as usual. Thank you for checking out Neptune Sunday. I will catch y'all next time. Peace and love.